Okay. Um, this is going to be a first for me. This is going to record my deck profile from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Bros 707 Squad Tourney. I'm doing it on Zoom because I'm currently living in Australia, and the tournament was in California, like it usually is. So I participated via remote duel. I had my webcam set up. Shout out to the boys for being flexible and making it happen. I managed to get second place, which was really cool. And also, it was just super fun dueling everyone. I haven't really dueled in 2 years since the last Yu-Gi-Oh! Bros tourney, but I managed to take second and play a really what I thought was a really fun deck. Trevor might disagree because of Chandra, but I played Dragon Ruler Tenpai. And I'm just gonna hop into the deck profile, take you through the card choices, talk about my matchups a little bit. Went 3-2 in Swiss, and then managed to make it as the 4 seed into our top cut, and then went to the finals and lost to Ian, who's playing Mitsurugi. But it was a great finals, super fun match. Honestly, all the matches were some of the most fun I've had, and maybe it's just because I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh in 2 years. But yeah, the meta is super fun. Our tournament's never really like quite at the top of the meta level, but this year was pretty dang close. I played against Drake twice. Pure Mitsurugi once, Fiendsmith Raziel, Primate Blue Eyes, and Striker. Oh, and Regenesis Kashtira. So those are my matchups. But yeah, let's just swap over to the webcam, which is not going to be great quality, but it's the setup, so it is what it is. But yeah, I'll just hop right into the deck profile. So Dragon Ruler Tenpai, I didn't play that spicy of a build, but I did blind second, so that informs some of the card choices. Um, Obviously, three spectral. This is like by far the best starter. If it gets ashed, depending on what you discarded, you're not like super upset. But if you get drolled on this, you are quite upset. Usually off of spectral, you're searching one of these four. So I played one of each of the baby rulers. The reason why I played just one of each is because one is blind second build. So you don't really want to have too many of these in your hand. You really just want to see one. Like one gets you access to that adult ruler, and usually you've drawn like at least one other one. Um, so yeah, drawing too many of these, you just go pretty neg in card advantage. But seeing one is like really strong. So yeah, usually off of Spectral you search one of these, and it's typically Burner because this bridges your Tenpai and Dragon Ruler engines unless you already have access to Blaster. But yeah, you're usually searching one of these. These are all good, but only at one, especially in a blind second version. My big Dragon Ruler ratios were, I think, pretty normal, but I'll explain why I use these ratios. So I played, move these tokens slightly down. Um, but I played three Blaster and three Tempest, and then two Tidal and two Redox. So usually people either play three of all of them or two of all of them. From what I've seen in profiles. And the reason I played three Tempest and three Blaster was these are by far the best ones to draw. So Blaster bridges you into your Tenpai engine. Um, and so like seeing this is always good. And like you can search it, yes, you can search it off Spectral, and yeah, you can search it off a burner. Um, but this like hard opening it is just better. And these two also have the best hand effects. So Blaster, if you discard it in a fire, it pops a card on the field, and Tempest, if you discard it in a wind, it searches any dragon. Those both I thought were very relevant, especially with some of the hand traps I played with their attributes. And so for that reason, I maxed out on them. And the worst hands with this deck I always found were hands where you didn't draw enough dragons. And so I thought playing 10 big rulers and then the seven baby rulers, it gives you 17 dragons, not including the Tenpai cards. So you're almost guaranteed to see at least one, and then you have a pretty high probability of seeing two of these cards. And the best hands are like two of these cards, one Tenpai card, and then non-engine. So I thought these ratios gave me the best chance of that. Title is by far the worst one. I'd actually even consider cutting this to one in the future. Anytime I drew title, it felt really bad, but you usually at least want one in deck to be able to summon off of either their baby or to send off of Chasma. And so I don't think I would cut it to one, but I would at least consider it. But yeah, three Tempest and three Blaster were both great. Um, Anytime I drew them, they felt good to draw. I didn't feel like I ever bricked on them. So yeah, those are the Dragon Ruler ratios. For the Tenpai engine, I maxed out on Dora as the normal summon, and then it's just one of everything else. So I thought Dora was better as a normal summon than Pydra, because Dora is actually, believe it or not, better into Droll. So if you normal summon Dora as your first play and search Genroku, and they change role, you just summon the Genroku, you make Bident summon back the Genroku, and then you can just tribute the Genroku to summon Fadra summon back the Jinroku, and then you still have Seals Bident. These two can make seals, and if you have any Dragon Ruler, you can just banish these two to summon, and then you have Seals Chasma, which, for a going second deck, that's not as relevant, but I thought that combo was just better under Droll. Whereas like if you normal summon Pydra and search one of these cards, your turn's just over if they Droll you, or at least your route is just done. So I thought Door was better, and I maxed out on it because this deck doesn't have another normal summon, so you might as well play three. And this card is just so powerful when it resolves. Um, the kind of strategy with this deck that I was going for was just use the dragon cards and non-engine to push and play through as many disruptions as possible going second. Um, use hand traps to make them end on a half board, and then use cards like Thrust. And I have some of my other non-engine choices to break through. And then if your last card's Pydras, Kaiman, summoning Jinroku, Chandra, or Dora, you just win the game. So that is what happened in a lot of my matches. So I think the deck uh, did what it was supposed to. And this engine's still absurd. There's a reason why these cards are all limited. Um, but yeah, I think it's by far the best engine to play with Dragon Ruler. And then yeah, I really leaned into this deck's strengths. I really don't think the Christia lock or even the Kakimira Drago, which I cited, lock is that good currently. You lose to like every hand trap. And I don't think it plays well into the strengths of this deck, which are one, the Tenpai engine is just an absurd going second engine. And two, the Dragon Ruler cards just they're big bodies. And if you're just using them for rank 7 turbo, um, I don't know. I think just like using both of your Chasma effects just to invest in a Christia or a Drago is just using this card suboptimally. This card's incredibly flexible, and I'll talk more about it when it gets to the extract. But going second, this card is absurd. Like you wouldn't think it, but if you can get to a rank 7, like you're usually winning, or at least pushing through their board. So yeah, so I played blind second, so that's why these non-engine are what they are. I played two thrust, one talents. I considered three, and then I realized I didn't have a third, so did two and one. I played two Ultimate Slayer. I was worried about like Ryziel mostly for this. In testing, Detonator is really hard to out, so um, I wanted to play Slayer, and then any fusion decks also, like with Fiendsmith. And then I played nine hand traps. I played three Imperm, three Ash, and three Fulos. Um, okay. Slight delay, but yeah, I played nine hand traps to go along with those board breakers. Three Imperm, three Ash, three Fulos. Fulos, I just felt like is insane in this deck for a multitude of reasons. One is it's like a pseudo consistency card. Even if it turns into like even in decks it's not that good against, you're usually getting at least like one or two draws. Um, and if you force them to like pass on nothing, then you're just probably killing them. But if you just get like one or two draws, then it's done its job, which is like dig you towards Tenpai cards or more dragons or these cards. Ash I played because it's pseudo call by the grave for Fulos, which this deck is really weak into. Yeah, unless you open like hard Tenpai and they have nothing. Yeah, then you're really weak to Fulo. So Ash is good for that. I did actually a couple of times hold Ash for my turn. Um, like if I Fua'd them and they pass with nothing on field, then I just held Ash for their Fua. And a couple of times when I got forced to go first, this was like Call by the Grave for when I got Fulos. Imperms would have been Nibs if I had them, but couldn't find my Nibs in time. I decided to play in this tournament kind of last minute, but Imperm was fine. It's only good if it's paired with one of these other cards, but it's theoretically all right. And then I played one Magnum as a 41st card just because it's absurd. And yeah, in a Dragon deck, I feel like you should almost always be playing this. Maybe playing 41 was a mistake, but I drew this once and it searched me the other half of my deck. I think it searched me a Spectral when I had te only Tenpai cards. So yeah, pretty good. Thrust and Talents were good. Slayer was all right. This is the part of the deck that I would probably change if I was playing another tourney, but for this one it worked out pretty well. So that was the main deck, 41 cards. Like I said, I don't think the going first version of this deck, or I should say, I haven't seen a build of the going first version that I really like. Oh, let's try and focus. Oh well. So yeah, and I'm comfortable blinding second. So it's what the Tenpai cards are best at. Yeah, extra deck. The best card in the extra deck by far is Chasma. Yeah, I mean the Tenpai cards are what win you a lot of games, but Chasma resolving is just nuts. I mean, sending for cost um, is crazy. It dumps an extra body usually, and then just the flexibility with the effect, being able to like pop a card, reborn something, foolish something. I mean, I don't think I ever actually dumped title to foolish something. Um, but like Tempest search any dragon is nuts. I used that to like search Magnuma. I used it to like search my Tenpai combo. I used it to search my Tasmag, which is in my side deck. Yeah, this card's just crazy. And what came up a lot actually was the floating effect, especially going second when like a lot of the disruption people had was like destruction disruption. If I could establish this, the fact that like this was a quick effect, it dumped for cost, and then if they tried to kill it, it just floated, made like playing it, making this going second felt like really strong. Of course, you have to get to two level sevens on board, but I was able to do that. So one Eclipse. It's pretty good. I summoned it a couple times. Um, the spell negate is the relevant effect. Being able to like summon another level 7 body if you have a baby is good, but I didn't always have a baby in grave when I summoned this. So yeah, you usually just use this to like force like one last bit of interaction before you make a Tenpai push. And then the disaster, which I did actually resolve once and then almost resolved twice. But I forgot about one last back row, so they chained and bounced it. Trevor chained and bounced it in response to his effect to attach. So yeah, but it's fun. I got to resolve it once. Sorry, Jack. One seal. Yeah, it's a dragon deck. You can maybe play two if you're scared of getting unicorned, like I did. The rest of the extra deck is pretty standard, just Tenpai stuff. The two Bident, Transcendent, and Trident. Um, yeah, don't need to explain these Tenpai extra deck. I played Black Rose as my second level 7 synchro. I never actually made this, but you do want a second level 7 synchro if you do the Dora combo, the one card Chasma combo, because you don't want to go through both of your Bidents. And Black Rose going second is just the best level 7 synchro. So that's why I played it. Um, I played Dispatter as another level 10. I made it a couple of times. But I mean, you're blinding second, so usually you're not making this. Usually you're making Transcendent or Trident. But yeah, it's a flexible card. It's a powerful card. It's also a hard negate, which this deck doesn't really have a lot of. So being able to like actually negate a monster effect is I think was valuable to have that option. My two Slayer targets, Aggregator and Entis, I would have played Malong, but it didn't come in time. And then the card I put in instead of Malong was Typhon, which I never really summoned. You're dragon locked a lot of the time. Um, and this also turns off like some of your extra deck effects. So, but I mean, it can help you play around some boards. And then I played Big Eye, which I summoned a couple of times. Being able to permanently steal something is just, I mean, really powerful. And in theory, like I was like, oh, I can use Big Eye, steal something, and then put Typhon on top of it, and then like bounce something else. But yeah, like I said, you're usually dragon locked, and like if you're not, making Chasma is usually just better than this, like 99% of the time, I'd say. Like Chasma puts on like almost the same amount of pressure as this card. So, but yeah, that was the extra deck. You definitely change a few slots in there. It was not a perfect extra deck, but the most important cards are, Chasma and the Tenpai cards, which when you're blinding second, it's kind of all you need. Side deck was by far the most suboptimal part of this deck. Again, I'm working with a limited card pool because most of my cards are still in California. So the fact that I was able to put this deck together, I was pretty happy with, but it meant that the side deck suffered. I did side the Drago, so I usually chose first in like game three. If I won the die roll, go second game one, choose second game one. Game two, they would usually choose first, and then if they won, I would choose first in game three, and I would side into, especially if their deck was weak to Drago, and I'd side in these five for the Charmies and for Slayer. Yeah, just call by Drago for the lock. But this is, I think, just better than Christia because it's a dragon, it's a wind, so you can like pitch it. If you draw it, you can pitch it off effects. You can pitch it off dragon ruler effects. Um, and yeah, like I said, I didn't want to go like all into the combo, but I did want to have an option to like floodgate certain decks like Mitsurugi. Call by is just good going second. DDG doesn't hurt dragon ruler as much as it does other decks. And then Ice Dragon's Prison was just the other trap card I had. I would have played Solemns if I had them, or D-Barrier, but this is just what I had. Although I don't think I'd play DDG going forward because you can't Chasma under it because it sends for cost, which I figured out during the tournament. I tried to flip this, or I flipped this, and then later I tried to Chasma, and then I realized, oh, I can't Chasma. So yeah, I lost that game. But yeah, five going first cards, and then just some like random non-engine to like swap in for matchups where like Impermer Charmies aren't that good. Two more Bestials. Jerusalem's insane. Love you. But don't get belled again. Uh, yeah, for matchups where they're good, Mitsurugi, Blue Eyes was good. Three draw, which is like a kind of a bummer that I felt like this card was necessary. Um, but it's a wind, which is cool. So you can discard off Tempest if you really don't want to activate it. Three Phantasme, which I love this card, and I really wanted to main deck it, but I was scared it was just going to be dead against a lot of the decks. And I played against Striker, where it was not dead at all. But yeah, literally against Striker, you can just like, even if you go first, you just make Chasma dump Tempest, search this, and then Chasma plus this, like, they're not going to OTK you through that most of the time. But yeah, I love Phantasme. It's good against Yummy too. No one played Yummy at our tournament, but um, yeah, Phantasm is really good. Maybe one day it makes itself into the main deck, and then the last two slots was just two Ogre, which I never sided in because there was not really a matchup where I thought it was that good. Um, and you really want higher impact cards. Like this is a card that like Imperm doesn't do that much on its own. And when you're blinding second, you want your going second cards to do more. Like Phantasme fixes your hand and gives you a level 7 body on the field, which is really relevant. Droll is like a turn ender. Bestials give you a dragon body on the field. Um, yeah, so like you want your going second cards to do more than Ogre, but this is just what I had. So yeah, two Ogre. Side deck is definitely suboptimal, but it did the trick. What overperformed was Phantasme for sure. The matchups where I saw it, it was insane. But yeah, that's the deck. Blind second, True Drake or Blind second Dragon Ruler, and I'm looking forward to trying to improve on it in the future at locals and stuff, and maybe take it to a regional or something. But it was just super fun to play in our tourney. And congrats to Ian on the dub. Um, 11 years after his first. So peace.